for what it's worth, is that some of the players are confused about what is happening, and he has lost elements of the dressing room. One source telling me that he's lost about 50% of the dressing room. Quite a few players are unhappy with the style of play. They also feel that they're training too hard and they're running too much during training. And I was told that the players don't know what they're running for. Also, some senior players have spoken to Erik Ten Hag about where they feel the club is going wrong. They've spoken to him about their experiences of playing at other big clubs. They maybe feel that he should be a little bit more touchy-feely. His man management could be a little bit better. But you know what? Erik Ten Hag is the boss. He's the one who calls the shots.
Hit the like and share button, people, and buckle yourselves in, because this is going to be a roller coaster. This is too much of a nuanced, complicated situation to say, there you have it, sack the manager, he's lost the dressing room. Even if that's what you believe. Even if it's what you believe, this is more nuanced, it is more detailed, it is far more complex. This is not a basic situation. And there are 2 or 3 things that can be right at the same time within this circumstance. I've seen reactions from people online to this clip specifically. There you have it. Sack the manager. He's lost the dressing room. I've also seen responses to this that show images, and it's hilarious to actually see that this has been said about Moyes. This was said about LVG. This was said about Jose, Oli, Rangnick, and now Erik Ten Hag. So 10 years, every single manager has lost the dressing room. And sometimes you have to look at this and say, well, is this not about the culture of the club? Is this not about the players downing tools? And you think about a very famous Sir Alex Ferguson quote from his autobiography 10 years ago, where he says, the minute Manchester United players thought, a Manchester United player thought he was bigger than the manager, he had to go. Now, this is something that I do believe in. I do believe in this. And I know what your reaction is going to be. Well, Terry, if you believe in it before you clip me up, how can you want the manager out? Well, as I've already said, and I'll go into this in more detail throughout the video, but for me, listening to what the manager has said about the style of football that he is trying to implement, it doesn't match what I think to be his skill set. We have a GP who is a trained doctor with a medical degree trying to do heart surgery. And I don't think that's sensible. Now, I'd rather a GP try and do heart surgery on me than a gardener, but I'd still rather have a heart surgeon at the end of the day. So I don't think with what we're trying to do currently at the club matches the type of manager, the type of coach Ten Hag is. Secondly, I do think he's lost the dressing room. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault. So the Sancho situation, the Ronaldo situation, falling out with players, that isn't per se my issue with him. So I don't agree with that part. I believe he needs to be authoritative. I believe he does need to be in control. Can he make some mistakes and do some things wrong? Yes. And I do believe he's lost that dressing room, and I don't know if it's recoverable. I don't know if it's recoverable. But let us not sit here and pretend that the players downing tools on another manager is acceptable either. This is not a polarized, one-size-fits-all situation. So there's this article today from Samuel Luckhurst who says Anthony Weghorst, Højlund, and Mason Mount are amongst the signings who have been questioned by some of Manchester United's players. Now, who the hell is leaking this? This can only come from players that are unhappy with the manager, but the fact they're leaking this must be condemned. The fact they're leaking this must be ripped into. There's also a possibility this is coming from the recruitment team at Manchester United, who know that their jobs are currently under pressure with the likes of Blanc and Radcliffe and Mitchell on their way into the football club because they don't agree with the approach the manager is taking. But it shows what a mess we're in, that the recruitment team, the players, the manager, and the board are all on completely different pages about our style of play, how we should be coached, the types of profile of player we should be signing, and the overall togetherness of this team. Again, just sacking Ten Hag and thinking he has caused all these problems is a delusional, benign thought. It truly, truly is. There's another article here that says Ten Hag is losing the confidence of players and some staff members. A dressing room source said the situation is so bad that some senior Man United players have expressed concerns at the direction of the club. I mean, to be honest with you, those concerns have been around for Man United fans for the best part of 18 years, and they were heightened and accelerated from 2013 onwards. So to suddenly act like now, oh, Ten Hag's here, what direction are we going in, is a madness to me. So again, if you're able to critically think, if you're able to have layered thinking, you have to look at this situation from multiple angles. I don't want the manager here because if he's not going to try and implement his style of play that he is famed for, he isn't the guy that I want personally. Just my thought and feeling. Do I think he could do some things differently in the dressing room? Am I happy with the amount of players he's fallen out with in a short space of time? No. But does that mean the players have a right to down tools? Does that mean it's correct that the recruitment team, the board or players are leaking all this information? Absolutely not. Both these things can be tackled at the same time. If I have two members of staff in my business and they're both doing things wrong, they can both be in trouble. If I don't want to use any real life examples because KJ is doing a brilliant job, but if KJ is doing a terrible job, but then there's somebody else that's downing tools on him, grassing him up, pulling the rug from under his feet, behaving unprofessionally, they're both in trouble. I'm not going to turn around and say, well, KJ gets a free pass because people are treating him badly. Equally, the staff members who are not being professional are not getting away with that either. They're both going to be disciplined. They're both going to be in trouble. I don't understand why in 2023, this is such a hard concept. Maybe it's people protecting their favorite players. Maybe it's people just not having the ability to think deeply about this. But you have to. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me.
He came out against the manager when Ronaldo got kicked out because it suited them, because Ronaldo wanted to work hard. Ronaldo wanted to win. They're all backing Sancho because they're all bloody lazy and they want to have an easy ride. It's player power FC. This is a battle for the ages here. It's a bit like what we've just had with Sir Jim and Qatar. But this is footballing. You're either going to back a manager or you're going to back the players, and that's the simple thing. I think we'll probably get beat by Chelsea on Wednesday.
I want to stop Goldbridge here because I look at it this way. You can back the position of manager and still potentially sack Erik Ten Hag because it's the position of manager you must protect, not so much the individual sitting within that role. So you can turn around and this is what needs to happen. And I get where he's coming from. And this is where it's a deeper conversation. You can turn around and remove this manager and say, look, let's just remove him. But you still turn around to the players and say, it doesn't get you off the hook. You, leaking to the press, downing tools, not wanting to train, you're all done here as well. In my opinion, what that then sets is a precedent that a manager needs to come in and win. A manager needs to come in and take the club forward. We also need to pick a manager that suits the style of football we want as a club. But at the same time, just because you're unhappy as players, you can't throw them under the bus. Can't do that. I had many, many leaders in my life at different jobs that I didn't like. But I worked hard. One, I wanted to earn my money. I wanted to get my bonuses. I wanted to progress. Why would I stunt my career to try and damage somebody else? It does not compute in my brain. And I would love anyone who's backing the players downing tools here. I want to understand when you would do this in your life, when you would stunt your career, stunt your education, ruin your relationships to spite somebody. I don't know why you would do that. It makes no real sense to me. How to fix this mess? Look, this article here got me a little excited. Only a little bit excited. From Ben Jacobs, the brilliant Ben Jacobs here says, Jean-Claude Blanc will not be afraid to come into Manchester United and rock the boat if he needs to. And this is what needs to happen. Because to all this mess we've discussed, there is a solution. And I had a few comments yesterday after the top 6 show that, Terry thinks that Ten Hag's trying to play in the style that the Glazers have told him to play in. Yes, I do. Maybe not in basic terms like that. But if you want to boil it down and be a reductionist, then we'll do that. Yes. Why do I believe? I believe what Ten Hag is saying. He is trying to play a style of football that is not conducive to him. So he's struggling. You need Blanc to come in here and say, what the hell are we doing? We can see it as football fans, and we don't have the footballing knowledge, background, and experience of somebody like Blanc. But if you walk in and the board or the people controlling the football element, which is now your job, want style A, the manager is famed for style B, the players want style C, and the recruitment team are looking for a combination of players that match all 3 of those things, you're going to fail. You don't need to be a football expert, a rocket scientist to understand it. If you need a pastry chef and you hire somebody who specializes in meat and has never made pastry in their life, you might get some okay pastry, but you're not going to get the best. If you need a mixologist to make the best cocktails possible for your restaurant and bar, and you hire somebody that's only ever pulled pints, they'll do an okay job. They're not going to be the best. If you need a top head chef for your restaurant, but you go out and hire a cook who's only ever worked at a Wetherspoons, they'll do okay maybe, but you ain't going to get the very best food possible for your customers. And if you do all those things collectively, your bar stroke restaurant is failing. I can guarantee you that. And that is how Man United Football Club are run. So from my point of view, I don't want this manager staying if he's not trying to implement the style of football that he is famed for doing. I don't want it. Equally, we should be disciplining players for downing their tools, irrespective of what the manager is doing. Unless the manager is asking them to bring in their toothbrushes and scrub the toilets, they have no reason. Unless the manager is racially or physically or in a bigoted way abusing them, there's no reason not to. And at the same time, we need this board fixed so that every single footballing department at this club is pulling in the same direction. That hasn't happened for 10 years, and look where we are. That, in my personal opinion, is how you fix this absolute mess, this madness, this abomination of a situation that we find ourselves in. Just sacking Ten Hag doesn't fix it. Just getting rid of the players doesn't fix it. Just having a new recruitment team doesn't fix it. Just Blanc and Mitchell coming in alone doesn't fix it. Seismic, systemic, deep, integral change needs to happen to this football club. Until then, we are never going to get out of this rut. My biggest message is this: Man United fans, please get on board. This isn't about protecting Ten Hag. This isn't about protecting players. This isn't about protecting your favorite board member, if you have one. This is about getting Man United back on track. Hit the like and the share button, people, and I'll see you all again